Guys, day 2 of The Truth About Cancer Live in Nashville, Tennessee at the beautiful Gaylord Opryland. I'm here with David Avocado Wolf. I don't know if that's your given middle name, but it's very catchy and memorable. You were speaking earlier about, let me check the agenda here. Detoxification, charcoal, internal cleansing, and fasting for health and spiritual growth. I don't know if you want to introduce to the viewers a little bit about who you are, why you're here at this conference this weekend.
I've been a nutritionist for 27 years. So that's my main work. I'm also a truth seeker. Like, I was very red-pilled very young, and my neighbor, when I was a real small kid, she was like, let me tell you what the Democrat Party's up to. I was 5 years old. I was like, okay. And then sure enough, everything she described back in 1975 has come to pass. So, I just had always an open mind, I guess. And it's interesting in our world, right? We have very little openness, especially of mind, in a world with infinite amounts of information. I don't think that's going to last very long. I think people will eventually open their hearts and minds to real important information, like how to be as healthy as possible. We're always looking for minimum optimum. What's the minimum thing I can do that gets the most results? And of that's where the charcoal comes in. The activated charcoal is the most important detoxification substance. It's the easiest. It's the funnest for sure. But it's also I think it's actually, even though it's not really a nutritious substance, it's actually more important than even nutrition. Really, the discovery is that detoxification is more important than nutrition. Human beings are amazing. We can get away with eating junk, nothing, 0 calories, crazy sweeteners, crazy artificial sweeteners, and live. But eventually it's the toxic load that gets us.
Yeah. That's so interesting. My only experience with charcoal is I had like a charcoal toothpaste and mouthwash, and I feel like eventually, and then I started reading like, oh, is it like eroding down like the I don't know, the front of my teeth, and then I stopped using it. But that's my only experience with charcoal.
Charcoal
it's been really commodified, and like it's been made very trendy. So how does one separate between I guess the bullshit products and what will actually help them?
And also I take the difference between bioactive
and bioactive. Okay, so what I do, if you want to brush your teeth with charcoal, which I recommend and I love a lot, it's really fun. I just literally take the toothbrush and I open up the charcoal right on the toothbrush and brush directly with the straight charcoal. And that leaves you with such a clean feeling in your mouth. And charcoal is very powerful.
Is that a myth that it rubs down?
No, it's a complete myth. Charcoal, there's some myths about charcoal. One is it will not break down your enamel.
Okay.
It will whiten your teeth. It's the best teeth whitener there is. It's also antiseptic, so it cleans your mouth environment. So it's really nice and healthy for your mouth environment. But beyond that, charcoal also, when you swallow it and ingest it, does not eliminate any healthy minerals, does not cause you to become malnourished in any way. And the question then becomes, and it's a very important question and a very difficult question to answer, is then how does the charcoal know that that's a toxin and that's a nutrient? And the answer is we don't know. There's different theories. So, some people say, oh, it's pie stacking. Some people say, it's van der Waals forces. No, none of those are sufficient answers to get to the van der Waals forces. Is the reason why charcoal can glue to itself a toxic molecule, but not bind with it. When we talk about chemistry, we're talking about ionic bonding, where things become bonded together. But what's happening with charcoal acts like a magnet. It's not actually bonding. It's more like a magnet for toxins. And that magnetic force is often called van der Waals forces. But the problem with van der Waals forces is that they act very close. So the molecule already has to be very close, but we know that charcoal acts from a long distance. So if I keep ingesting charcoal this way through my body, 500 milligrams a day is a great start. This morning I had 2,000 milligrams because I was really tired.
Do you take it in pill form, or you just dust it into your mouth? I'm imagining just charcoal dust going everywhere.
It's a little bit difficult to pour it in this way because it's going to get everywhere and you're going to be covered in charcoal. I have the Puluan capsule, which means the tapioca capsules, which is the best vegetarian capsule in the world for my charcoal, just because it's such a neat way to do it. It's not a almost pokey, plasticky V cap. No, This is more it's like tapioca. So when you put on your tongue, pretty much instantly it's dissolving right away. But it's a cool packet that I can have, because I can take one capsule and I can go, oh, let me open this up my toothbrush. I can take one pack and I go, let me open this on this person's wound.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This person got stung by a bee. Let me wet it and put it right on there. So it's kind of like a cool little packet.
Use it for anything.
Put
it on sandwiches, smoothies.
Well, let me tell you this. There's a long history in Europe and in the Middle East of charcoal breads.
Really?
Wow.
Long,
okay.
oh yeah, long history. So that meaning that they would sprinkle charcoal into bread, going all the way back to the beginning of time.
I have just a question about the bioactive, because I heard that you have to take it away from food, and then it becomes such a headache because you have to I have to take my binders away from my nutrients. So is it true that bioactive will make the distinction and not slurp up the nutrients?
It will not suck up nutrients. That's such an amazing discovery, again, that we don't really know we don't really know the mechanism of action. We do know that charcoal will absorb between 100 and 200 times. And the word I said was adsorb, not absorb. Adsorb is like glue. It glues itself. It's like magnets on a refrigerator. It can glue onto itself about 100 times its own weight. Some people say 200 times, depending on what study you read. So what that looks like is like the charcoal's like your fridge. And imagine you kept putting magnets on your fridge until they finally would fall off because there was too many magnets. That's how charcoal works.
Okay, wow.
And it goes, I could go on about this. Listen to this, because I live in the woods. One of the things that
where
happens
in the woods? Not exactly where, but are you from the woods? Like, how did you just, are you off the grid now?
I've lived off the grid.
Okay.
I've lived with freezing cold temperatures. I've put in my own septic systems and flushing toilets, and I'm
You're
kind
about
of
that life. Okay.
I'm a kind of a handyman kind of guy, although electrical stuff is not my strength. Plumbing is my strength. I'm a cosmic plumber. And one of the things about plumbing is that with old plumbing, you don't want odors coming up through the old plumbing. It's really bad, right? And it's like, you've been in houses where the house is old and you go in the bathroom and this smells terrible in here. So what do you do to neutralize that? Well, one of the things you do is you start flushing charcoal down the toilet.
Oh, wow.
And the charcoal will neutralize all the odors in the toilet, all the way into the septic. And so it will completely clean the environment off. It's just like it does to you. Now, I can go on about this. Once charcoal's in the water table, it's purifying that water table until all the charcoal is used up, which takes a lot of toxins to use up all that charcoal. And if you keep putting more charcoal in there, eventually you have enough charcoal that you're sucking up all the toxic gases, you're sucking up all the toxic nutrients, and you've got a perfect septic environment. So I'm a huge fan of using charcoal in septic systems that are old, and I've done that myself for years, and it's amazing. Another thing is that when you put charcoal into the earth, which is how I've gotten into farm. I'm a farmer, so I've really gotten into using charcoal as my main amendment for the soil. And people go, wait, don't you want to put in fertilizer, or how about rock dust, or why charcoal? Because charcoal begins the whole process of building the food chain. And it does that in our bodies too, by the way. When you have charcoal going through your body, all your little friendly bacteria go, oh yeah, this is perfect. It's like the charcoal can hold moisture. The charcoal is a black substance, so it's a fertile ground where bacteria go, oh, I like this, is healthy. I like this. Does that in the soil too. And eventually I started going, Mike, do I need anything else except charcoal for farming? I'm not even kidding. Charcoal is by far my number one thing for farming. And then the second, I'd be like, okay, you want good fertilized, composted soil, from broken down food and scraps like that. And then that's the way that I farm. I'm basically a charcoal farmer is my main thing, not my only thing, but it's the main thing. And what charcoal is really good at is, let's say I'm going to plant a tree. So I dig a hole. The charcoal creates the connection between the root ball of the tree and the new soil, so the plant doesn't get shocked.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and it goes on I could go.
Where do you get your charcoal from? And would you get it somewhere different to help with farming versus what you would put in your body? Yes.
Okay, so if I'm going to help with farming, I want them cut into rice-sized granules, and that's really easy for farming. It makes, because if there were big chunks, I'd be like, that's kind of doesn't really work for farming, because I don't want big chunks. I want small chunks. So could I eat that? Sure, I could eat that. It's made out of wood, and it's made out of an edible wood, so I could eat that. But it's kind of the rice-sized bits. for something I'm going to eat, I want either a birch charcoal or an activated charcoal where the molecular size is much smaller, because then I'm getting more surface area.
Right.
So I'm getting a better detox out of it. And so I think it's 80 mesh is the, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a track of like, okay, this is the size of the actual particles. I think it's like 80 mesh. And that's good for eating, because that's a good, it draws all the toxins out of your system. As you process the charcoal through you, it pulls.
So what, like we're talking like pesticides, like what are the biggest toxins, like pesticides, heavy metals, like aluminum, right?
Aluminum, which isn't really a heavy metal. It is a light metal and a toxic metal, but yeah, aluminum.
That's the only one I know.
Drugs,
that's the deodorant one.
Fungus, mycotoxins.
Molds, right?
Molds.
Okay.
Do you need, Dave, something?
Charcoal's a tremendous antiseptic. I really got to emphasize that. So, for example, let's say like somebody was seriously injured and you didn't have anything, you could make charcoal and put it right into the wound. It's miraculous.
Even though it's black and looks scary, and you're like, I don't want to put that in my where it's bloody, right?
Yep.
But you can.
You can.
Yeah.
And it's a styptic too, which means it'll stop the bleeding.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Charcoal is one of the most functional and useful materials. Now, what do you make charcoal out of? What the industry uses is coconut shell charcoal, because it's really dense and you can create a lot of really good quality charcoal from coconuts. Another really good source is birch wood, because that's a hardwood and creates really good charcoal. So that's another strategy. Another really good one's willow. Willow makes an excellent charcoal. You could also say that you could get charcoal out of nut shells, like walnut shells, which also produces a really good charcoal as well. Charcoal is like half combusted, right? If it's completely combusted, it'll go totally to an ash. But if it's half combusted, it basically becomes like charcoal. It's not wood anymore, but it's not ash. It's in between. To create charcoal, if you're going to create like a bunch of it, like how do we make it easily? You're basically baking the wood. So what you would do is, let's say you had a tin can with a little air hole in it so the gases could escape. You put the wood in that, then you throw that on the fire. It will bake the wood, but it won't combust it. So you'll get a really good charcoal. And that's how most of the charcoal is made for industry. Most of that, it's all baked.
Have you considered changing your name to David Charcoal?
I have not yet. I do use the word coal biter, though. And coal biter is a Scandinavian term that it's the charcoal eater. So this is not something that was invented by me, or it's something I stumbled into, which is an amazing discovery. That charcoal is a transformative product. It historically in Scandinavian mythology, it took the person who was the weakest and the most, like the runt of the litter, like the youngest in the family, or the one who just didn't want to brave the cold winds and the ocean and the Scandinavian weather, and that kid was to tend the home fire. And so when everyone got home, they'd have a nice warm fire, and then would eat the charcoal at the edge of the fire, and over a period from age 7 to 14 would be transformed into the healthiest, the most capable, the most resilient. And that person is called a coal biter in Scandinavian mythology, because it signifies the transformative power of eating charcoal.
And why isn't this in the mainstream health side of sort of like dialogue?
It is. It's there. If you dig in, like, for example, if you get the books on charcoal, and there's a lot of great ones, when you get into like the actual numbers on charcoal in terms of extending life in mammals and actually all animals, you will never find anything, not stem cells, not any nutrient, not any nutraceutical, not any food that extends life longer in mammals than charcoal.
Wow.
Charcoal is typically between 20% to 47% increase in lifespan, which you'd go, oh yeah, okay, that's 20%. What does that mean? Let's say a human being was going to live to 100 years, which I think is reasonable. I think we're supposed to get 100 years. Well, if you're getting 20% longer, you're getting 120 years.
Wow. But are those good years? Like from 100 and 120, like how much running around are you doing? You know what I mean? Are you going to a lot of parties? Maybe. I guess maybe. If you're super
I don't know.
healthy.
I mean, we know from the Mediterranean diet people and the yogis too, that they do have a lot of fun in those later years. So
especially if they're at a nursing home.
I guess if you're at
horny.
100 and you're not at a nursing home, that's some good news right there.
One of the fans wants to know, how much charcoal does this guy have on him right now?
Right now, I don't have any on me right now, which is very unusual. But normally I had about 2,000 milligrams this morning for breakfast with water. And up in my room, I've got bags and bags and bags of charcoal.
Cool. Maybe I'll have to get a bag. What do you say to the skeptic who is I'm just trying to think of like what my viewers would like have qualms with, right? Like I feel like a lot of people are skeptical of like anything natural health related because they think everyone is just a good salesman and they know how to like shill their product. And especially when you're here and it's like it seems like a lot of people are selling something. How do you differentiate? Like, how does somebody try? Is there like, do you suggest a trial period? Like, what do you say to the skeptics?
Okay. Well, over the years, what I do with skeptics is just feed them. Charcoal is not a high-priced item. I'm not going to become a millionaire selling charcoal. So I got into it for the love of it, and I really wanted a good product. Now, what was amazing to me is that a lot of the products that are out there are in like plastic EV caps, or they've got magnesium stearate in them, or they've got citric acid in them, or some other excipient, or whatever. I was like, can we just have a straight, clean product? And that's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, and it's still hard. Like, we are sold out on my charcoal half the time because it's all hand done. This is not machine fed, right. It's not that kind of a thing. So it's a labor of love. Now, my people who manufacture the product for me, they have begged me, and I mean begged me, can we please use citric acid? Can we please use magnesium stearate? And I'm like, no way, because it's hard work. And I've got 6 people we have these encapsulation machines where the charcoal comes down, boom, fills all these caps up, and then you pull the thing down and they all get capped. And then boom, those get pushed off the side. Then it does it again, and it's a hand done. It's not a mechanical operation. And you see what I'm saying? It's not going to. I'm not going to become a millionaire selling charcoal. It's just a love that I have for it.
Does charcoal expire or ever go bad?
Great question. It does not ever go bad. It could get wet, obviously, but the thing I was mentioning earlier is that the charcoal, even in the soil, will continue to work over. Ready for it? Not just hundreds of years, but even thousands of years, because the Tierra Preta de los Indios, the black earth of the Amazon, is over 1,000 years old and is the most fertile soil ever left behind by the human race.
Right, that makes sense.
I've eaten ancient soil and it just took
you can eat it.
It's so much.
So basically, someone's asking, what does it do for you? It helps with detoxification, right? It binds the toxins, and then you just like eliminate them.
And you eliminate them. And so charcoal is the safest antitoxin we know of. That's a very important thing in the toxic world. I mean, every day we're breathing, like, for example, breast cancer, the 2 biggest carcinogens that are correlated to breast cancer are coming from automobile exhaust.
Wow.
We don't even think about that. We'd never even talk about that.
No.
Right?
Not at all.
And so it's like we're just living in a toxic soup. We've got toxins that are air, water, it's everywhere. We don't even think about it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm like, look, you've got to be on a gentle and simple detoxifier every day. It can be just 500 milligrams, easy, something very basic. But as time goes on, you might want to do what I'm doing, which is, increase to 1,000, increase to 2,000, and get the hit and really see what it's like.
Do you need something to push it out because you might get constipated, like magnesium?
Good. Okay, so charcoal is
Are we talking black poops here?
Yes.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah. Charcoal is drying by its nature, and it's hydrophobic, right? So you need to drink a lot of water.
It's afraid of water.
So what you want to do then is whenever you have a lot of charcoal, you need to drink a lot of water. And generally what I recommend is a little bit of electrolytes and sea salt. So what that looks like, if you wanted to just create a drink like this and have it all there, so you weren't taking capsules, for example, you'd create a charcoal lemonade.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Charcoal lemonade.
For like $8 a bottle in New York City. And I just out of principle, I'm like, I'm not gonna spend that much on like one drink. But I bet
know that
you
place you're
totally...
talking about. It's in the Bowery. I want to say Bowery.
It's like I think it's probably like a juice. It's like a pressed juice chain.
Yes.
But they have them kind of a lot of spots.
Expensive. Sometimes they put it with coconut water, which is awesome.
Charcoal is so inexpensive.
Can you take it as a suppository? This may not be a serious question, but
you could. Yes,
could.
Of course you could.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So, but how do people know that they need to detox? Because a lot of people just, I'm not like a woo-woo health person. I just feel like I know a lot of men who, and actually like men and women, like you're just gonna ignore your health until you have something like really noticeably wrong with you, a crisis, and you can't go on. And I feel like if we were all regularly kind of detoxing, like even once a year, we would avoid a lot of like chronic issues. So how can people, like, what are the first few signs? Like, hey, I need to detox. Hey, I need to really look at what I'm eating. Hey, I really need to like look at my environment, right? Because a lot of it's not what we're eating. It's just like pesticides and environmental.
Yep.
So like, what are the signs of realizing like, oh, I think I have to
skin
look
eruptions, skin trouble, acne, stuff that persists, skin issues that persist, foggy thinking, really, bad odors and smells coming off of your body, feeling run down easily, the inability to really stay on top of your game day after day, where you start slowing down or you lose your endurance or you lose the firepower. All of those things are symptoms of just being lethargic and toxic.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, accept it. You're getting old now, or you're over 35, or whatever it is. You're 50." Like they always say, like there's a justification for any of your health issues, right? Like, "Oh, this is just what happens. Suck it up." Or
we say this. We just say like by the time I'm 51. By the time you're 51, you're just getting going.
Right.
You're just getting going,
like in life, right?
Yeah,
like you're figuring it out.
Yeah, you just figured. You spent all those years figuring it out. Now you know what to do. And at my age, it's like I'm just getting going. I'm just getting started. That's what I want for everybody out there. I want you to be at age 50 and being like, okay, now I'm ready to get this life rolling here. That's not really possible in the toxic lifestyle, and it's not really possible when we don't pay attention to our body. You have to like. I have all my hair. I have all my faculties. I don't have any screws and pins and needles in my body. I've made it all this far, and I want to make sure I maximize. And these tools, detoxification tools, help us do that as long as we're consistent, right? We can't just go, okay, I'll detox for a week and that'll be good for 2 years. You need to be consistent, really get into it, make it a lifestyle. And that's really what ends up happening inevitably, because when people deal with, like, say, chronic skin issues, they realize that it's not going to be a quick fix.
Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, do this thing for a week and then you're done.
Yeah.
So it's better. I was gonna say, is it better to do like multiple cleanses, maybe like over a year, or is it better to like have something cleansy just in your life on a daily basis?
I think I'd say the latter. Like you're doing that. You have things like, for example, I don't eat breakfast. I don't know what time it is now. What is it? It's
almost
1 o'clock.
1. Yeah.
So all I've been doing is I've been sipping tea, and I've just eaten charcoal today and a little tiny bit of orange juice. That's what we need to be doing every day so that we allow our body to catch up.
You're intermittent fasting?
Yeah, basically intermittent fasting.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that we allow the body to catch up, and we allow the immune system to catch up, and we're not suddenly going, oh, here comes breakfast. Uh-oh, here comes lunch. Because those things are very, especially as you age. When you're 20, you can get away with anything. When you're 30, you can get away with anything. But there comes an age where your body goes, look, we don't need all that food.
Yeah.
We need one meal a day. That's it.
Breakfast is a notion that was introduced, the hunters and gatherers.
By big cereal.
Right, yeah. Human being, this is the thing about breakfast, is you're breaking the fast, right? Break fast. So you don't want to be just break like eggs and bacon. That's breaking a fast, but that's not a good idea. You want to have lots of liquids, lots of charcoal, lots of lemon. And then through the day, you start to go, okay, it's, now it's like 4 in the afternoon. Now I can have a meal or have a small salad, but then I'll have a bigger thing at dinner. Usually I like having a bigger lunch and liquid dinner, but just life circumstance usually flips that around where I end up having, going to someone's house or something, and I have a bigger dinner. So I try not to eat the lunch. You know what I'm saying? So what ends up happening is that, when you eat late at night or you eat big dinner, after a while you're like, wait, what happened? I got all this weight because you're not working it off. It just sits on your bones because you ate at night. So these are the things that happen to you as you age, and they're things you have to be on top of because you're like, wait, I can't get away with it anymore. So I have to do things like fast all the way through the morning.
Yeah, which is easy to do. Like I most days don't even eat till 1 or 2. If I wait till 3, then I start feeling a little kooky. But
do you have fat in the morning? Personally,
I just I wake up and I'm like, I have work to do. I'm behind. Like that's how I wake up every morning in a panic, and then I have coffee, and then I start my day. And then
I'm kind of like that too.
Yeah.
Like I get up in the morning, I was like, wait, I gotta do this, and then I gotta do that, and then by the time it's all of a sudden it's like 4 hours later, and I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably make a smoothie, something like that. And we just, at some point we've got to dedicate ourselves to living more and eating less.
I think
Yeah.
so. If you're eating high, dense, nutritious food, you don't need to eat that much.
Not that much at all, right? And that's another thing too about high dense nutritious food is like whatever you do eat, it should be really good food, like real food. Like if you like chicken, it should be a real chicken. If you like salad, it should be real vegetables. A lot of our food is fake. A lot of it, right? A lot of the bread is bread-like product. It's not actually bread. It's a fake thing. So just analyzing your diet, getting off as much of the fake stuff as you can.
How do you know if something is fake?
The ingredients list.
Just looking at the ingredients.
If
right,
the ingredients list summons Satan, you know.
The less ingredients, the better, and things you can pronounce, right? And of course, that's the bread that's going to go, it's going to go bad sooner.
Early.
Or like, right, people are home now. People started baking their own bread during the lockdowns, and like the bread trends is sort of fading now. And we're back to TikTok, but yeah, like baking your own stuff. That's interesting. What are kind of like the biggest offenders that you think most people are eating that they could easily, because people are, it's easy to get stuck in your ways with your habit. I think people don't want to start shopping at a really expensive health food store. Most people are like, oh, I don't want to pay. I would blow tons of money on this stuff because I was brought up that way.
Okay, so I blow tons of money on food and fuel. Like for my vehicle, like I always get the most quality fuel. Now people are like, dude, why'd you do that, man? You spent $10 extra you shouldn't have spent. But let me tell you something. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee I've been driving for 21 years, and it's still going better than ever. And I have to believe that it's because of that.
Wow.
I never put cheap fuel in me or my vehicle. It's a rule to live by. I recommend that rule, by the way.
So then why do they have the two different kinds? Just for price?
Good question. The reason is because there's a certain breakdown of who's going to pick what. Almost nobody will choose the highest quality, highest octane fuel. They're going to choose like the 85 or the 87,
okay, right?
And so 90% or 95% of what a gas station sells is that. So I always get the top one. Now, there's two reasons for that. One, it's a better quality fuel. The other reason is because the gas station always has it. They always have it because everyone gets the other stuff, and it's a way of life. Like if I'm going to put something in my body, I want it to be the best ever. I want it to taste good. I want it to have real flavor. I want it to be real. It's just smart. Same with your car. Like don't get cheap. Like there's things to be cheap about, but your body is not one of them. And the thing that's got your life, which is your vehicle, that's not one either. Like put that, make an investment there. Now, if you're going to say like, I'll do my own plumbing. I'm not going to call a plumber. I'm opposed to that because I do my own plumbing.
What about your own septic tank?
I'll save my money that way.
Yeah. I'm just laughing at the chat because somebody said that you look like you have become one with the charcoal.
Like my hair has kind of become one with the charcoal.
You're black. I like it. Do you wear a lot of grays and blacks generally?
I'm a black sheep of the family. So today I wore black because I'm a black sheep of the family. And there's probably many people listening. They're going, I'm the black sheep of the family. I came from 2 medical doctors. I didn't want anything to do with medicine. I was like, I want to be on nutrition, healthy, fit.
How did you first know like that you wanted to go a different way than how you were raised?
When I was 7 years old, I saw something because I grew up in a doctor's office, so I saw something was just like, something's wrong with this whole scene here.
Yeah.
Just an instinct, and I'm a black sheep of the family. So something lit up in me. And ever since then, I was just aware that like, something's wrong. We want a healthy way of living. Just the clinical
vibe, just like the cold, fluorescent,
mechanical.
Like everyone who works at a doctor's office is cunty. No offense to your parents, but like, it's just, it doesn't feel like a healing, calming environment. It feels like sterile and cold and like
totally. The food's terrible.
I was speaking to a friend that is now vented for 3 weeks, and he was still on a mechanical thing. And as I was interviewing him, they came in, they gave him a big ass fat piece of chocolate cake, and I'm like, oh, here's some inflammation and sugar. What are you doing offering chocolate cake at the hospital?
Well, I think it was Cerno who posted this, like the contents of like the typical feeding tube stuff. And it's just like, it's corn water. It's basically like corn juice and like a ton of chemicals. And I'm like, that's what they're putting in people's feeding tubes. and it blew me away. Like, check on his tweets or like look it up. I was like, damn,
Mike
that's
Cernovich?
not food. Yeah,
I know Mike Cernovich. He's a very health conscious guy, actually.
Yeah.
I met him years ago through just the natural foods world. And we do need to, by the way, with the politics, we need to start bringing the conversation of like healthy food and healthy living into the politics, because if we're living unhealthily, then our brain's not working the same way.
And we're not going to question. We're not going to be curious. We're just going to like do the bare minimum each day to get by.
Yep.
You know, we're not going to thrive. And people are like, oh, why are you at a health conference? It's all connected. Like, it's not just about political censorship. Right. It's health censorship. It's all connected. Like,
it's all connected. You're right.
The forces that be want most people like in a kind of dumb trance, you know, just like Netflixing and Amazoning their lives away and not questioning them so that they can be in power.
These heavy metals have shown to strip people of IQ points. Like literally, there's studies that show how it dumbs you down.
And there are foods that increase IQ, like honey. Honey increases IQ. There's a lot to be said for omega-3 fatty acids for brain health. There's just so much. Nutrition is so vast and so great, and that's why I don't cheat it. Right? It's like, why am I going to cheat for that junk? It's like, I don't forget. I don't even want it. Like, I don't want McDonald's, anything. I don't want anything coming out of there.
I have somebody in the chat who said, I don't eat anything unhealthy and I still feel like crap. You probably get that a lot.
That right there, that's a person who needs some bowel cleansing.
But clean your bowels, mouse potato. How does one do that?
Okay, so
what, magnesium is a good natural one? Okay.
Magnesium's very good.
It's a good natural one.
A good laxative that works for you. You know, you hear oftentimes like, well, we can't do laxatives. What did we get addicted to laxatives? You're not going to get addicted to laxatives over a period of a week. Like, do a bunch of laxatives and clear your whole self out.
How do you know if you're backed up? Because I like never poop. Not never, but like, you know, not every day.
You should. Okay, so Here we go. As a nutritionist, I got to say these kind of things. You should have 3 bowel movements a day.
What?
And 4 is even better. Yes.
Who has that kind of time?
I know.
I don't even get the urge to go like maybe once a day.
More magnesium. So this is a good case right here for good amount of magnesium. Okay. And I'd recommend, I'm a bigger fan of magnesium, by the way, than calcium, way more.
And which kind? And
I like, but right now, currently, my friends over at BioOptimizers, they've got the 7 different magnesiums in one product, which is so cool because you're taking that. Yeah.
Is it really expensive?
It's, what's the price of that product?
I'm an affiliate. I don't know.
I'm an affiliate too. That's why I don't know either. It's a great product. Anyway, what I like about it is you get all the magnesium. So
I take Natural Calm. It's like in the dust thing.
Okay, so
and like that has helped. Yeah.
Yeah, it's helped you, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing is let's take your Natural Calm. We'll take your magnesium and calcium. We'll upgrade it. So we'll take the BioOptimizers magnesium. So you get all 7 magnesium. And then what do we use for calcium? Let's use pearl calcium. That's what's been used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years, in Persian medicine, Egyptian medicine.
Calcium?
Not coral calcium, pearl.
Okay.
From the pearl, like crushed up pearls, like a pearl necklace.
Right.
And it's an amazing combination. Now I will go to my room and take that combination here soon. I love that combination because they're highly alkaline, right? So magnesium and calcium are highly alkaline, and a big problem with toxins is they're highly acidic. So that when you put the alkaline with the acidic, it neutralizes it.
I was literally talking to a guy yesterday who said the alkalinity thing is a myth, that your body is meant to handle like acidic things, like your stomach is acidic. Like he was here talking for a while. I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Casey or somebody else was like, oh, don't that whole thing that you have to eat like alkaline foods and like drink alkaline like liquids and water, that's all bullshit. So like,
let's break that down real quick. What that's saying is, if that's really true, then that's saying you don't need magnesium and calcium. That's very dangerous. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
It's very easy to become chronically deficient in magnesium in the world that we're in today. It's just one of those things that you've got to go the extra mile to make sure you get enough magnesium, because the stress, the sitting, the driving in cars, these things are magnesium draws out of our system. And
it's responsible for 400 different
detoxification pathways. It's very important. So when we talk about acid and alkaline, the alkaline elements is magnesium and calcium. Now, let me just tell you a little plumbing story.
I love plumbing stories.
So let's say you have a plug in your plumbing. What's going on there? Well, usually it's hair and other acids.
Oh, I thought we were talking about buttholes still. I thought we were talking about like plumbing. You're actually talking about real plumbing.
Real plumbing.
Right, I'm shifting.
Hang in there.
I'm like, I don't think I have any hair back there. I'll check though. Who knows?
I was going to say a smart comment, but I'm not going to.
Okay, you can. They can
my
handle
wife's
it.
over there. She doesn't want to do anything.
Oh,
anyway,
where's your
so
wife? Where's your
right
wife?
there. She's right there.
I can't see her. Oh, she's cute. Oh, the charcoal wife.
The charcoal wife. Anyway, so let's say you have like, a problem with your drainage in your bathtub or your shower, and you're like, this thing doesn't drain. It's acids that are accumulating in there. It's like, if I create compost and I keep throwing all my food scraps over and over again, and my hair scraps and everything from the house scraps, it becomes very acidic. And so at some point in time, I have to throw leaves or calcium or something in that pile to balance the pH of the composted soil so it doesn't become hyperacidic. This is what happens in our body, and this is also what happens in drains. Like if I'm going to clean that drain up, I have to use sodium hydroxide, a highly alkaline substance, to neutralize the acids that are in those pipes. And together they dissolve each other, and it will clear the pipe out. And that's what happens in our body. If we don't neutralize those acids, they're going to clog everything up.
How do you know if you're clogged?
You don't sweat very well. You don't poop very much.
You don't sweat like at all? You don't sweat like it doesn't smell when you sweat? Or you just are not a sweater?
Well, you're not a sweater, right?
I'm not a sweater.
Okay, so we got to throw you in a hot sauna.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And another way is just how you feel too, because if you feel clogged up or you feel lethargic, that usually means that your pipe, we're all pipes and filters. Our whole body's all pipes and filters. So we've got to make sure we clean that out. And that's where the enemas and colonics and laxatives, not every day, but certain times of the year, we
like
focus
right
on
before
that.
Thanksgiving when all your family's about to come over. It's do an enema, and then you have a reason to leave if somebody's like being awkward.
I'm such a fan of coffee enemas. It helped reverse my lupus and
coffee
fibro.
enema wakes up your beehole.
Yeah.
Where you take coffee and you put it in the other way.
And then I would do ozone, followed by ozone.
Have you heard of hydrogen?
Yes.
There's a hydrogen guy here. He was very big. The chat loved him yesterday, the hydrogen guy, the bubble.
Yes,
I call him the bubble boy.
I'm a hydrogen fanatic. I learned about hydrogen. I was taught by one of my teachers, Dr. Patrick Flanagan, a famous hydrogen scientist, actually. He's one of my great teachers, unfortunately passed in December of 2019. So I'm a big fan of hydrogen. So the big ones actually in the health field, there's three really important ones. Oxygen, of course, ozone, MMS, miracle mineral solution. Then there's hydrogen, which is very, that's like the stem cell of all minerals. That's what makes you. We're mostly hydrogen. And then the other one, of course, is carbon. Carbon's the filter. So it's always about detox, always about oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
We are oxygen depleted.
We're so oxygen depleted.
So if you're
ridiculous.
if you're feeling tired and like where you shouldn't, like I'm getting enough rest, you think you're eating reasonably healthy, you're not like drinking a ton or doing drugs, whatever. You're like, I think I'm leading a reasonably healthy life, but I still feel like lethargic and I still have brain fog and I just don't know, like I should be like doing better. It's not, I hate the excuse of like, oh, you're whatever age, so just suck it up, So then you should look into a cleanse and. Yeah, whether it's like charcoal pills or like you said, the magnesium.
Yeah, you know what I do with detox deniers? I just enroll them in the cleanse anyway, so I get them in.
But
so
for so many people, it's hard to even start because they're just like, oh, I don't need this. My body knows how to poop. I don't need this. I just know so many people who are like anti-detox. They think your body just already detoxes. Yeah.
So let's get into that a little bit. To believe that your body's 100% efficient at anything is crazy. That's impossible. How many times have you gone on a trip? Let's say you went on you went with your family somewhere and you got behind 2 or 3 bowel movements. Did you ever catch up? Usually not, right? And so just imagine that over a whole lifetime, we get behind. Next thing you know, we get constipated, or next thing you know, we've got all this undigested matter in our intestines. And so the detox is all about just getting caught up.
And there's also liver 1 and liver 2 detox phase. And
Yeah.
I have like a sluggish liver. I need help. So the organs that are meant to detox also need support.
You bring up a really good point, which is not all of us are the same in our ability to detox. Some people detox easier than others. There's 2 genetic mutations, the MTHFR, right?
I have them.
And you have both of them.
Yeah.
Now, I have one of them, right? So that means that I have to work a little harder at it, but it's not that big a deal. But if you
how
have
do you know
both,
if you have it? Is there a test you can do, or you just okay?
Yes.
You did get a blood test.
You can do I did 23andMe before it got sold, and then upgraded all the raw data to a program called Prometheus, and then looked up the different SNPs. There's also the HLA SNP that So I'm not able to detox mold, for instance. So then you support the different phases
with different nutrition.
Okay.
I mean, this what she's talking about is the nutrition of the future, where you get blood work done and you realize, oh, I'm in this category, so I need
genetics, because of like how you've been living
and your lifestyle. And so then you start going, if I have more, for example, let's say you have her 2 MTHFR problems. She's going to need a really good quality B vitamin supplement. She needs B12, she needs B9, she needs B1, she needs B2, she needs B3. She needs all of those because they assist with that particular genetic, it's 2 genetic defects, that's 2 recessives, that meet up. And if she doesn't have that, then her toxicity level can become dangerously high, actually.
Yes.
And this is the nutrition of the future.
Yes, it's functional medicine.
A question about why citric acids have an alkalinizing effect.
This is what I would say about citric acid. Citrus fruit is very alkaline in the sense that the rind is very high in calcium. The citric acid is an acid. So generally when people say, oh, I'm going to do lemon juice and become alkaline, really what you want is the lemon pith and the rest of the lemon too, blended all in so you get that calcium.
Okay.
That's the real magic. If it's just lemon juice and lots of citric acid, then I would say you're not really getting a lot of alkalinity there. You are getting a high amount of hydrogen, which is really good. Can we say it's alkaline? Okay, by some definitions, if we're going by the electrical definition of alkaline, then you're getting a lot of negative hydrogen charge, and therefore we could say, okay, that's alkaline. So it just depends on your definition, because one person's alkaline definition is different than another's. The common one, the most normal one, is calcium, magnesium, or alkaline minerals. We can't really say that about hydrogen, but hydrogen can have a lot of negative charge. And we could also say like an alkaline battery, it says high alkaline battery. That means it has a lot of negative charge like hydrogen has. And we could use that correlation.
Do you add K2 as well to support the calcium?
I like vitamin K2 a lot. For a lot of people, I don't know what your average demographic is, but when you're young, you don't worry about K2. K2 prevents soft tissue calcification, like coronary artery calcification or brain calcification, which can cause a stroke. And so K2 is a very important nutrient in that regard. But when you're young, it's not as important.
Interesting. Like, so if you were to simplify the vitamins that everyone should be taking or supplements, like basic, if someone's intimidated by like, oh God, I'm not on anything, or like, oh, I take a gummy vitamin, like if you were to like break it down?
I'd recommend, if I had to break it down, I'd say vitamin D3. That's the big one. 10,000 IUs a day is really because it's immune system and dealing with all this immune stuff that's going on right now. That's a big one. I would say a good B vitamin is always nice. I kind of take those for fun. They're kind of fun.
What do you think about multivitamins? Is it better to just have them separate?
I like them separate. I mean, see, the thing about these multivitamins is they got so many chelated minerals in them and this and that. And eventually it's just a hodgepodge of a lot of stuff. And to me, it's unnatural in the sense that you're hitting your sensitive gut lining with all of those things all at once.
Where normally, like in nature, you'd be like, you get it through your food, so you would get it kind of like one at a time.
It would be parsed out a little bit, exactly. And so with vitamin D3, you're getting that from just being in the sun,
right?
Because we're in buildings.
But like, the darker your skin is, the less D3 that you are going to get.
So it's just like really, it comes to supplements. Come down to our unnatural lifestyle. We need the supplements because either we have a genetic issue or we're just in an unnatural lifestyle. But again, I like supplements that are more like they come in like foods and aren't super concentrated, so that suddenly that pill is hitting our stomach and suddenly it's like our stomach going, what the heck is this?
So it's better to like do drinks if you
can.
Yeah,
exactly. Smoothies, trying to get as much as you can from food. If you want extra stuff, be clever. Like extra B12 is a really good one for extra. Okay. Because it's good for energy.
The B's, the D's.
D's and vitamin C.
The C, of course. Yeah. And where should people go to get high quality vitamins? Because I know what they sell at like a GNC or a vitamin shop. It's like not going to be as high quality.
Yeah, no,
and I'm sure like everybody here has a brand that they want to point people to.
I like the liposomal vitamin C's, the ones that are more fat soluble, and also there's some really good liposomal B vitamins too.
Chris Shade's formulas.
Yeah, Chris Shade's formulas are really good, and Symbiotica's formulas are really good, and there's great stuff out there. But generally, it's an internet product.
Okay.
When you go into a health food store, most of what's there is like it's not really the cutting edge. It's the stuff that
really they just bought it in bulk. It's in their stock.
Because they have enough trade margin, and they got all the trade shows, and they got the deals with all the health food stores.
Interesting. Okay, so better to go internet for vitamins.
Better to go internet.
Yeah.
Also, so many amazing formulas, and then they put all these crappy fillers, and it's like, why are you botching this up? I don't want all this.
That's another major problem with the supplement industry is that you should have no filler. Well, filler? What do you need filler?
Fill this.
I love one of these comments. It's from Jeff. Chrissie, marry me, and we will save a fortune on toilet paper.
Epic.
Because I don't really go, but maybe. Yeah.
I think, let's see.
I need to tweak my
I think
my
I bought some organite from this guy years ago. I don't really sell organite, but I'm into organite.
What is organite?
Organite is when you take shavings of metals and you take shavings of crystals and pieces of sacred objects and you embed them into let me see if I have any of it on me.
What's in the pouch?
There's probably organite in this pouch.
You have a pouch of crystals on your neck?
This has got a lot of meteor rock in it, actually.
Do you open that or does it stays closed?
It stays closed. This is shungite, but anyway, organite.
I have one on my phone, and somebody yesterday said it was bullshit.
That's
the
organite.
bubble boy told me this was bullshit.
It's not bullshit.
It's the shungite. It's from I ordered a bunch, and I have like the pyramids that are like next to all my computers at home.
Yeah, see that's yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a fan of all that stuff. I think it's good. Okay, so Cozy Town says, does this guy exercise? Not as much as I'd like to. I work too hard, but I really like jungle living. So my favorite farm that I have is in Hawaii, and I like swinging from the trees and chopping and dropping.
I was going to ask you, when was
jungle
the last
living.
time you were in Hawaii?
Chop it like it's hot. Do you like to chop it like it's hot?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see what else.
Everyone's
real
calling you
deal
hippie
hippie mafia. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the real deal.
That's everybody. Not everybody here, but that's cool though. I want a magic pouch. I know sometimes I have friends who are like, oh, crystals are bad, but I'm like, I don't know. You feel like it helps.
I like all these little things. I noticed today, look, I'm missing that one. That really upset me. I saw that today. I was like, damn, I'm missing that. See how it's missing the rock?
What was it? What is that, pyrite
that was
or no?
Piece of meteor.
A piece of meteor?
Piece of meteor, yeah. That's also, there's a bunch of that in here too. Those are some of my favorite. I like labradorite a lot. I like meteor.
That's labradorite.
Oh yeah, look at that. She's got it right there.
And citrine and this is something. The Bubble Boy knew what this was. It's from Dominican Republic. Yeah, something with I forget already. Oh yeah. I don't know, I like it in jewelry.
Is that? Oh God, I think I knew that one. What is that?
What's
the one from the Dominican Republic?
Is it with a P or is it with an L? Lutherite? Largitite?
Celestite?
No, that's more like crystalline.
That's crystalline. Yeah.
I forget.
Okay, let's see.
I got a magic pouch
full of banana juice. I'm sure you do.
Making fun of your pouch.
Okay. Let's see. I've lost the gist of the thread. My brain can only take so much, and everything sounds distorted. Maybe I should become the president.
I'm just trying to simplify because I feel like a lot of my viewers are not super health conscious people, and I know it's very overwhelming to start. Like somebody in here is like, oh, they do spirulina and chlorella with D3. Start. And I know so many people who just discount it all. They think it's all bullshit. And it's like, but then again, it's like, you don't know that you could be living to on a much higher level, like a much more quality of life. You just don't know because you're glossed over and fogged over, and you just don't know that you can achieve higher.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. I like peak performance. I like to be able to get the most out of every day. Every day is the best day ever. If you get 2 hours less sleep every day, how much extra time do you get in a year? What's the answer?
Oh God, I'm great at math. Let's see. 2 hours every day, so that's 14 hours a week. Times that by 4 weeks, that's 14 times 4 is 48. 56. Okay, that's a month. Times that by 12, that is 500, more than 500.
Okay, so you got more than 500 hours, right?
Yeah.
So if we reverse engineer that and put that back into weeks and months, guess what happens? This is amazing.
Where are you getting the 2 hours? What does the 2 hours represent?
The 2 hours means that you have more energy. So instead of getting 6 hours, instead of 8 hours, you get 6 hours.
Oh, so you don't need to sleep as much.
Right. But you're rested. I mean, I don't recommend anybody push themselves beyond what they're rested at, but If you sleep 6 hours instead of 8, so you get 2 extra hours because you're better nourished, you're fasting more,
Right.
you're
You just
fitter.
don't need it.
Then what ends up happening is in a year, you've gained an extra month.
Nice.
Ooh,
I will
That's
not
a
the
lot.
chintz
secret
out on my
month.
sleep. Like my brain is not working as good because we barely slept yesterday.
But also, we're like at a thing. Like if I'm out of town, I don't need to sleep because I feel like I can't sleep because I have things to do, places to be, people to meet. So it's like I can't just like I wake up like the last 2 days. I was like, what? I'm late. I have to be somewhere. Like, and then I spilled perfume on my dress, and yeah,
That's a bad one.
it keeps
Like
me
I'm
on my toes.
I need to sleep. Like I feel like I'm robbed of my brain cells. How many hours do you sleep?
Oh, I try to sleep like 4.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like I had a diving coach who was an ex-Marine, and he would
That's
sleep
all
like
you
4
need?
hours.
Like I went to bed last night. I went to bed last night at 2, and we got the alarm, and I was up at 6:45.
Wow, that's
so
like is that what like one REM cycle?
It's, you really only need like one really good deep moment
think
of REM
everybody's
sleep. You know what I mean?
different.
Where you're dreaming and your eyes are doing
And
all
you're like
that.
Channing Tatum, and then you wake up.
Then you wake up, and then
Yeah.
you're good. So I feel like a lot of times people are wasting a lot of their energy sleeping.
Okay,
That's
wow.
interesting.
Yeah.
I differ. I think every person is different.
You could also be a little depressed. Like I've noticed when I sleep more, it's like I don't want to really face the day. I'm avoiding
Oh, yeah?
something.
That's true too.
Yeah.
That's true too. I find that it's like if I like this morning. So I got up at 6:48, I think it was, and then went to the bathroom. And by the way, that's important. Not just for as a health tip. Try to drink a lot of water in the morning because the more that you urinate out the chemicals that were in your blood when you were sleeping, the more you'll wake up. So used up serotonin and other neurotransmitters will put you to sleep. They'll keep you asleep. So the more you can pee when you get up, the quicker you'll wake up.
You can pee out like sleepy vibes.
That's right. Yes. You pee out used up neurotransmitters like serotonin.
That is so fucking
Facts.
cool.
I love you.
Jeff thinks that high functioning people all sleep for 4 hours or less. Trump was one of those. Yeah, I heard Trump ate garbage and like barely slept.
I think they got him on a better diet once he got out of there because he
looks
looking
so
haggard.
good.
He looks a lot better now. He was looking haggard.
He's looking
he was
a little
looking
snatched
like,
now. Yeah.
He was about taking. Did you hear him say that? I'm like, you didn't take the jab. You're lying.
I mean, or maybe he got a
Sorry
placebo.
to change
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
A
I just
lot,
wet
I mean,
the
a
bed
lot
and
of
go
these
back to
comments
sleep.
are
Good
not.
call.
Oh my god, a super chat! Finally, thank you, Rocket Attack. I see the cross. Can you ask him how he factors faith into his health routine? Also, thanks for reading my stupid thoughts out loud. Of course, Rocket Attack.
Nice. How do I factor them together? Fasting prayer, fasting prayer, fasting prayer. When you fast a lot, you're more connected. That's just
You think about everything else, you know.
You're not distracted. Food distracts us from a lot of things, but one of the things it's distracting us from is spiritual pursuits, right? Because food's very material and it just keeps you grounded in the material world. But as soon as you fast, we just did a week-long water fast. That's really powerful. It's really good for you.
I did a master cleanse once for like 27 days.
Whoa.
And this was like back when it was like really trendy, you know, because I was like,
That's
Robin
really good.
Quivers lost all this weight on it. I was like, I must do it. And it was getting to the point where I'd go up to people and I would like smell their food. I would just be like, no, I'm good. I would just smell their food and then walk away. But yeah, it was cool. It was really cool to do a juice cleanse for that long or whatever you call it. Because you focus on everything else in your life that needs fixing.
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
After 4 days, I've never done
that. So that's a good point. I want to get that point in. Is that when you get deep into a cleanse and especially a fast, you have more time because you're not distracted with food. You're not making food. You're not fixing food. So you can get more done. And so that's one of the things that keeps me at it all the time. It's like, I have more time for when, like if I'm in nature or if I'm listening to music, I can be it's like better than any drug. When you're deep into a water fast, it's better than any drug. That's why people do drugs. They're trying to get into that state.
Like you go through your caffeine withdrawal headaches and
you
get cravings.
all that.
But then after that, I didn't even want food. I just was like over it.
After about 4 days, like how long did it take? And then you break through.
Yeah, it was probably like inside of a week, and then I became like truly over food. I was like, I know it's there, but like it felt good to be focused and like I mean, I did it to lose weight, but the benefits were so much better. And then, of course, obviously when it's over, right? Like I went back to my whatever 20-something-year-old eating plan. But the idea is like, all right, fresh
How long
start,
have
and
you
then
been
you
doing
add
this
in
show?
more stuff. This show, like since I started this podcast January of 2020, but really got into it May of 2020. So, yeah, like a year. Why?
Nice.
Okay. All right, you fast, and then I'm gonna.
The president sniffs his food. Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Which president? Joey?
Oh yeah, when I started taking vitamin D3, I started getting better sleep. Still 6 hours, but a deep sleep. Yeah, that's neat.
Have you ever tried the Oura ring?
Yep, I
You
did.
tried the what?
The Oura ring.
No, is that what that is? I've never seen that.
It's made
Oura
in
ring?
Finland.
Is that like a Nuva ring?
No, it's not like a Nova ring, but it will mark your deep sleep, your REM, and your body temperature. And so using this, I was able to figure out that I was getting 16 minutes of REM and that it was mold. Like
What?
eventually.
Wow, that's cool.
Because
I mean,
you
that's
do not
cool.
need 16.
Does that go into your phone or like how
Now
do you...
they're off.
Okay.
Because I became obsessed with checking my data every morning. But it
Yeah.
did help me biohack and find out. It's made in Finland and it's called Oura. I'm surprised you haven't heard of it.
Oh wow,
Never
that's neat.
used them.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to read these comments, David.
Let's see what the comments are. All right, bud, you fast, and then I'm going to hand you a 120-pound 4x8 stage deck, and then I want you to carry it 4 flights of stairs, and yeah, we need about 8 of those to make our stage go. I do a lot of workouts when I am fasting, actually.
Yeah.
But that takes a long time to get to that point, because usually when people start fasting, they're really wiped out. But
Yeah.
as time goes on, you get used to it. Over the years, you eventually start to realize you have bigger reserves. And then you can work out when you're fasting, and it's really, especially if it's something like swimming or long walks, that's really the best. But occasionally I'm doing heavy work like carrying soil, planting trees,
man
while fasting.
stuff, real man stuff. And the point of fasting is like your body takes so much energy to digest. It's constantly digesting food like all day, and the fast allows your body to be like, oh, I don't have to digest something. Okay, what else can I work on? And then it sends the energy or white blood cells or whatever like to go work on, I don't know, is it like disease that's forming? Is it just other chronic issues? Like the fast actually, like your body's not distracted with just the daily diet. So
it's like
it tends
what
to
what happens there is your
go
body's
fix.
able to catch up.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like we just start falling behind, and then you have undigested material gets into your intestines and blood, and then you all of a sudden you have big protein molecules, and your body's like, well, we got to fix this. We don't have time to deal with that. And so all you're doing is, so we basically prep. It's a 3-week process. The first 2 weeks we're just prepping. We're just bringing the calories down. You're doing less food, more liquids.
Like a Squid Game diet. Like maybe you just get a potato or an egg.
That's it. Yeah. Then by the time you're on day 15, you're ready.
Yeah.
Then you're ready. And it's like, okay, I'll do one day. Let's try it. And then people get through the first day and they're like, that was easy. Then we do day 2. And pretty soon you're like 4 days into a water fast. And you're like, what the heck?
It's really literally just water, nothing else? Or is it supplements too?
We do water, sea salt, charcoal, and lemon.
Okay,
That's
cool.
it.
So just getting the electrolytes.
The sea salt's for the electrolytes. If you just fast on just water with no electrolytes, which I've done many times, it's a lot harder because you don't have any electrolytes. So your blood pressure's low. So you're walking around with low blood pressure. So you're dragging. You're like, oh my God, can I get through the next 10 minutes?
The salt and the lemon is for what? Vitamin C?
The lemon's for vitamin C, but it's also because the lemon makes the water easier to drink. And the lemon also, I've tested this a lot over the years where I let me just drink without the lemon, then I'll do it with the lemon. Or do 4 days of fasting with no lemon, then I'll do it with the lemon. The lemon and just citrus in general is very high vibe. It's very happy.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually feel happier. Because a lot of times when you're doing a water fast, you can get into like a low vibe, even though you're fasting, but you're just like, I don't do anything. I don't need to do anything. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, also, like I found when I've been working with people to put them on a detox, and then a lot of them, because the toxins are stuck in the fat, and then they start feeling like crap because it's getting released, and then they develop a bad imprint with the detox and they stop,
right,
rather than pushing through and realizing a lot of the toxins are fat soluble and stuck there.
Question from Mufasa. He mentioned MMS. What does he think about chlorine dioxide? Very cool guests, Chrissy.
Yay. I like chlorine dioxide and sodium chlorite and MMS, and it's just an amazing
Mixed martial salts.
Oxygen.
Is that what it stands for? MMS,
mineral
mixed martial salts.
Was it mineral miracle solution?
Okay.
And
Mineral solution.
Okay.
The inventor of Genesis Church is still locked up in jail in Colombia after a year. And that's what the president was referring to.
You know what's been interesting? I've been hearing a lot of people have asked me about MMS just today, which I'm like really happy to hear because it's out there, words out in the street, which is a really good sign. What I like about MMS is, or sodium chlorite, or clorio de sodio, depends on where you're hanging out, is that it's very portable oxygen therapy. All your healthy tissue needs oxygen, and all unhealthy tissue needs oxygen. And all parasites hate oxygen. All viruses hate oxygen. So as soon as you put more oxygen in, they don't like it. And by the way, the people in the government who are against oxygen,
right?
Why is that? Well, because parasites hate oxygen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
That's the truth.
What makes you think that the government is like hates oxygen? Like what is in place that makes you think that
they've been crucifying anybody who's putting MMS out there. They've been trying to put them out of business. They have been slandering it. Why? Because it's a direct threat to their pharmaceutical empire. I mean, let's just imagine I've got these 15 drugs out there and injections, and I'm like, this is the only thing that cures that. Meanwhile, some dude over here comes in with something that costs 20 cents. It's just oxygen that's better than anything that pharmaceutical company has. What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
Shut you down.
They're like, this is my corner.
Yeah, like you're
Get
on our
outta
street
here.
corner.
Scram.
Yeah, like, you get off our street. We're the drug dealer here.
And that's why face diapers are really good to increase oxygen.
Oh, yeah. Good old immune suppressors. Okay. Thank you. That was a really good question, Mufasa. I want to see if anybody else has a real serious question in here. And thank you for staying so long. I really did not expect.
So that was good. I'm a big mushroom guy.
Psychedelics or just like
I mean,
or
I can't do
cremini.
psychedelic mushrooms anymore. I just can't.
We're not 25 anymore.
Yeah, I'm not 25.
We got things to do.
But they played their role.
Okay. Cool. People talking about their sleep. What do you think about zinc chloride?
I take zinc.
What do I think about it? I think zinc oxide is still the best sunscreen there is.
Yeah.
I will say that. I'm familiar with the other the zinc gluconate and zinc picolinate, which are good forms of zinc as a supplement. Zinc chloride is not something I'm familiar with as a supplement, or at least not right off the top of my head. So I'm not sure what the use is.
Okay. Rocket Attack likes you. I like this guy. Seems like he has good intentions and really loves health. I agree. And your eyes are like really clear, and they look like these like hazily brown like marbles. Like you can always tell somebody how healthy somebody is by their eyes.
This man is a legend.
Oh, okay. A little respect in the chat, please. Not as good as charcoal. Some people are making fun of charcoal. Yeah, I was on it, and then you know what? I heard bad things about the toothpaste. I'm like, oh, I don't want to wear my teeth down to nubs, and then I stopped using it.
Any thoughts on antimony? I spent a lot of years studying
Which one?
alchemy.
Oh, what is antimony?
I missed that question.
Is that the money that you have to pay
of-
your wife when you break up?
Yeah, it's an alchemist's alimony. Antimony. That's a good one.
Anti-money.
So I spent a lot of time studying antimony and a lot of time studying many of the sacred metals, or what we call the platinum group metals: copper, silver, gold, palladium,
So
platinum.
it's called going platinum before the rappers did.
Osmium, ruthenium, and ormus. And antimony, so for example, there is a connection between silver and the moon. So if something is weird happening with the moon and you're trying to, let's say, crystallize silver, right? Let's say you're in the silver business, it can affect the crystallization of silver. So let's say you have molten silver and you're trying to form a coin. Weird things can happen if something weird is happening with the moon. So silver and the moon are connected. That's something that's been noted for hundreds or even thousands of years. Gold and the sun are connected in some way, like the same way. Weird things can happen. If something weird is happening with the sun, like it's being eclipsed or some weird thing like that, and you're making gold coins and you're crystallizing them by cooling them off, a weird thing can happen in that regard. And I spent years actually, they thought I was just completely full of it on that. So I would provide the actual data, the scientific data on that. It's out there. It's alchemy. Alchemy is real. But the one that's interesting is antimony. Like the most common antimony that we come across is when you light a match. It's antimony sulfide. That's the thing that sparks when you light a match.
Which you can use in the toilet after you poop.
That's right.
Completely eradicate
right the smell out. Anyway, antimony is the one that comes from Earth. Like silver's moon, Mercury's Mercury, Venus is copper,
right?
Gold is sun, lead is Saturn, tin is Jupiter, Mars is iron, antimony is Earth.
Wow.
Yeah. And antimony is one of the most interesting alchemical substances, and to me, it's one of my favorites to research. And it just, to me, there's the 7 sacred ones, which again we went through that list. You know, the lead and gold and silver and iron and all that. But the one that's the 8th one is antimony. And it's got very special properties. Wow. And it's very interesting.
How about anatomic gold? Because in ancient Egypt, they used to put it in the embalming.
Oh, you mean like monatomic gold?
Yeah, sorry, monatomic gold. It's musks. So when I was going to Egypt and the Ark of the Covenant, the powdered gold that they would eat, which I guess is Oramus. Can you say something about
that's like such a big subject.
Like a follow-up.
Great subject, but it's a massive.
What you said what would need a follow-up? You said it's such a big subject.
So different forms of edible gold and edible silver is a very big subject. But the key idea of it is you're trying to break down the molecular size, like metals like gold and silver like to clump together. So what you've got to do is you got to get the metal into a format where it can't clump with itself. And that's the secret of the whole Ormus project is like, okay, what happens then? And like, what will happen to gold or silver when it doesn't clump with itself? Well, it becomes a different thing. It's a different type of product. It behaves more like a ceramic and less like a metal.
That's cool. Antimony pills kill parasites and treat fevers, and the pill is reusable. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
How does it mean reusable?
I don't know. You have to like get it out of your butt.
Comes out the other side, then put it back in. I don't know.
We need a part 2 about carbon fiber.
Oh yeah, that's a great subject too. There's a really interesting carbon scientist here, and carbon fibers and just the breakthroughs of carbon in the last 20 or 30 years is probably the most significant in all materials sciences. And I really had a good background in materials. You know, that's what they call it in engineering school. And I went to engineering school. And the carbon fibers, lightweight fibers, super durable, C60, fullerenes, nanotubes, all of that stuff is a huge area. It's one of the most explosive areas in all of research today.
Cool.
And the ones that I really like are the carbons that are edible, like charcoal, and of course C60. Some of these are not edible. Like wouldn't recommend eating graphene or graphite.
Exactly.
Right?
Okay.
Or injecting it inside.
Or injecting it either.
For example, if hypothetically, if that was something that was currently in an injection, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't know you guys. All right, more of the chat is into healthy stuff than I realized. I thought I asked questions based from the position of a person who's so skeptical, because I know that's like most people are just like, it's all bullshit. But then it's like, then you walk around tired and at like 20% all your life. So it's
all bullshit.
It's worth trying out.
This man, he's 51. Look at me, I'm 48. Do we look like it's because we're optimizing our biology, not eradicating the immune system?
Yeah, right. And we shouldn't ever really get sick. Oh, good. Somebody asked about C60 olive oil, which I'm a big fan of. And I've been manufacturing that product, I think, longer than anybody in North America, not Europe, but in North America. And I manufacture it based on the original Fatih Musa study with the 2012 famous study. And it's just a love. I mean, I have a deep love for that project. I also have a deep love for growing apricots, and I see that apricot seeds there, and I love apricots and apricot seeds. And apricot seeds aren't the only stone fruit seed that you can eat. You can eat peach seeds, you can eat plum seeds.
For the B17.
And they have all kinds of, there's B17 in all of them, but some of them have really powerful, like plum seeds. It's got a steroid in there.
Wow, you can get jacked off plum
seeds?
Look at you smile. You're like...
Listen up, dudes. Eat your plum seeds. Hit the gym.
Yeah, there's another one, peach seed. Peach seed has a
Isn't it like
has a
too hard?
steroid
Isn't it too
in it.
hard to eat? Like, what do you do? Mash it
Well,
up?
you have to
Vaporize it?
crack it,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
so. It's kind of you know how when you eat a peach and then it has that shell, and you have to crack that with a nutcracker. Then you get the peach kernel out of there. The peach kernel has a steroid in it that is tested for by the U.S. Olympic Committee.
Oh man!
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's how powerful that is.
Right.
Get to the middle of the peach. How did you get the avocado nickname?
I'm an avocado grower since 1978.
Oh shit!
If you go to my Instagram, anybody wants to check my Instagram, I put pictures of the avocados I grow on my Instagram.
What's
David
your
Avocado
Insta?
Wolf.
Or join his Telegram, which is legendary with the memes.
What's your Insta?
David Avocado Wolf. Let's see. Yep, that's me right there. Yes. And you will see, scroll down there.
I'm not
You can
following
see-
you. How
Oh
embarrassing!
my God, look at that. Exposed.
Exposed. Here we go. Boom. There.
Okay, I just got followed. That's
Okay,
not
good.
Okay, so if you scroll down a little bit, you can see, some of these. These are some of my favorite varieties that I grow.
Oh, cool.
And I'm absolutely in love with growing avocado trees, and I've been doing it my whole life.
How did you get into it?
I got into it because my uncle moved to San Diego from St. Louis, and we followed him to San Diego, and we started growing avocado trees near the border, just as fun, family project. And now he's been there all those years, and those old trees that we planted when we were kids, they are mature. It's a trip.
Wow.
Like, I went back there recently, so
How
it's
long
like
does it take for a tree to mature and bear fruit?
depends on the tree. I've some as soon as 2.5 years, some as long as 20 years.
Whoa.
Mhm.
The trees are like, I'm ready when I'm ready. Don't rush me. Cool. Wow, that's so neat.
Okay, let's see what else.
Avocados are great. Okay, pumpkin seeds. Oh, I tipped
I ate
two
so many
apricot-
pumpkin seeds the other day. I almost lost it. I had to
Almost-
eat something to stay awake
It
while I was
hurts my
driving here.
tummy,
Oh, it makes you
pumpkin.
sleepy?
Oh, I just needed something that I was
It has
eating to keep my blood
tryptophan.
sugar up. So I would.
It has
Tryptophan. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Roma plums and a peach tree. I have a pharmacy around my house. Great news. Thanks. So far, it seems the consumption of avocados leads to student debt and colored hair. Ha ha. That's funny. That's just avocado toast.
That's avocado toast.
My dogs ate avocados and had beautiful coats. Oh, that's so cute. Please send pictures of your dog. Thank you in advance. Wow. I didn't know are there different kinds of avocado? There's Haas.
Yes.
And then
There are over, so this is a little trivia for everybody. There are over, that I know of, 600 different types of avocados.
no.
Now, there may be thousands. I mean, that's just what I know about. But I haven't done a degree in
What's your
all the
favorite?
avocado varieties. Okay, so there's 3 major classes of avocados. There's the Mexican avocados, which we know as the Haas is the most
And those you can
famous.
put on your roof to help fix. Let's joke about Mexicans. All right. Moving
on. Anyway, so the Mexican avocados are kind of oily, but they have the pear shape, and they're the ones that are probably most liked by people because people don't really realize that the other ones are equally as good under the right circumstance. Let's say, imagine we lived in Miami before there was air conditioning. You don't want a Haas avocado in that situation because it's too oily and too fatty. So the Caribbean avocados tend to be stringy and watery.
Yeah.
Now people hate those kind today because we're all used to the
creamy ones. Yeah.
Right? But imagine again, if you're in Cuba or something, and way back when there's no air conditioning, then you don't want to be eating a real fatty avocado. Now the best ones, the third category, the third grouping of avocados both those 2 groupings are pear shaped. The third grouping, the Guatemalan Highland variety of avocado, is globe shaped.
I've seen that. Yeah.
And those are great, and they're real oily. They're that big. They
Okay,
can be
no, I
huge.
haven't seen one that big.
They can be smaller, but they're
And the
Wow.
Mexican mafia was involved in avocados, and there were shortages.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
Wow. Okay, we got
the
some
cartels are involved.
questions. Johnny
Okay.
D, any advice on what to do if you've been having symptoms of what seemed to be a neuromuscular disorder for a few years, yet can't seem to get a diagnosis or answers from MDs? Just desperately curious.
Okay, well, one thing is you want to improve certain aspects of your nutrition. So nervous system issues, B12, omega-3 fatty acids, make sure you get all 3 of them, ALA, DHA and EPA, all three. So 2 of them are marine source,
Right.
1 is land. So let's say like you're like ALA, what's that mean? That's like chia seed
It's
oil.
what
Alpha linoleic acid.
There's
Okay.
a good product called Keto 7 that has a melange of all the oils.
Has all in it. So either find a product that has them all in it, or get a really good like fish oil and mix that with a hemp seed oil or something like that. Now, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat fish oil, so I get mine from algae.
Okay.
Because algae that's how the fish gets it. The fish gets it from the algae. So there's really good algae oil products out there as well. Now, that's a really good start. Another thing I would say for, again, nervous system is we're always in shoes, we're in carpeted areas, we're indoors, and you have to actually connect up because your nervous system is electrical in nature.
Right.
You have to connect up to the circuit of the
ground,
earth. You have to ground. So you have to get your shoes off. You have to get into water in the earth. You have to walk barefoot. You have to swim in the ocean. And you got to kind of commit to like an hour every day.
Really?
Yeah.
So an hour, most people could do shoes off in the grass for an hour every day.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Or
That's
walking
neat.
on the beach. That's no problem. But if you're starting to develop a nervous system disorder, then it's a prerogative. You need to make it a prerogative.
Could there be some smart meters or some electrical shit that's
irritating it? Yeah, very good point. Another thing I would check, and that's a very good point that you bring up, is let's say you're living under a cell tower. I mean, you know, in
Like
these,
a 5G tower,
yeah,
or
5G
even
tower,
other
or just
Gs.
anything,
Yeah.
like that's just sitting on your roof. That can be affecting you.
Yeah.
And it can cause nervous system problems because, again,
Yes.
the nervous system is the most electrical part of our body. So we're getting hit and fried by all that every day. It's not healthy. And we know from the research that they've covered up that it's not healthy. And that's why they are always going, well, a study in 25 years ago said it was okay. And it's like, dude, we didn't have iPhones 25 years ago. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. That's
I
interesting.
had a client whose daughter was having neuro stuff, and I said, by any chance is she living next to smart meters? She's like, oh my god, there's a whole row behind her bedroom.
Wow. Any foods that improve ADHD? I was diagnosed with ADHD years ago. Like, I took a test, got probably the best I've done on any test in my life, like high scores. They got me on Adderall. I took it for years, lost a ton of weight, but it made me like manic and crazy. So
attention down to a higher dimension. One of the things you can do is one of the things that triggers off ADHD is sugar. So, or any excitotoxin. So any MSG or Chinese food, for example, where they're using all different kinds of teriyaki sauces that have all kinds of MSG in it. That's the stuff that can cause an excitotoxin reaction and cause you to be unable to focus. The actual, like when we really get down to like, what is the actual thing that's causing it? It's really a food allergy.
Really?
What's really underneath it is a food allergy.
You have so many kids in schools, like the parents throw Adderall at them, and they're just, oh, that'll help it. And meanwhile, it's probably like making it worse.
Years ago, I read a study that was out of the UK where they were trying to test like why, like what stops the ADD and ADHD in these kids. Their theory was that if they got them on food that actually had rich minerals in it, was good food, that would stop it. Turned out that the actual result of that study was completely different than what they expected. They found out that there was a direct correlation to symptoms of ADD, ADHD, juvenile delinquency, acting out in school, inability to focus, and food allergies. And the main food allergies are wheat, dairy, and sugar.
Which none of them I eat.
Right? And some people listen right now, like, you might have eaten those things and it causes you side effects. And at some point you're going to have to do like what we did, where we got off of it. Like, we don't eat that food anymore because it's not really a food.
So wheat, dairy, sugar.
Wheat, dairy, sugar.
I mean, if you do dairy, do organic, do raw.
So the things that would improve it, you think it's more about taking things out.
It's more about taking things out. That's right. Yes.
Okay. That's good to know.
It's so simple.
I've got to get going, you guys.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you so much, David.
Was
this
great.
was like so much of your time.
Awesome.
I really appreciate it. So much valuable info.
Everybody,
thank you so much.
Over there. Have the best day ever.
Take a thing if you want. Follow me back.
I'll follow you on Instagram.
Okay. Thanks. Wow. That was really great, guys. That was really cool. I feel like you guys may have thought he was like full of shit in the beginning, and then ultimately you came around on him. Bye, Charcoal Man. Everyone's saying bye, Charcoal Man. Master of Charcoal. He was very cool. David was cool. You know what? This was great. And this was a full hour, so I can re-release this as like an episode later. All right. Cool. Sweet. This was great, guys. Thanks for watching. It is 2:00 now. Maybe we'll take a break and come back in a little while. Thank you, chat. Thanks for the super chats. Yeah, and we'll see you back here soon.